Little lad hurried home to tell his father and his mother how Jesus had fed the big crowd of people from his basket of lunch, and how when all the people had eaten, there was more left over than he had to begin with. Is that a good story? Yeah.
Across the Columbia Union Conference, teachers like Ms. Toom are reading to our children at more than 60 early childhood education programs and sharing the story of Jesus with them. They're not only growing young minds, they're growing our schools, churches, and God's kingdom.
Well, in November of 2007, the North American Division Executive Committee assigned early childhood education to education ministry at every level, the conference, union, and division level. Its purpose was to have education, which is already well established, look at effectively coordinating ECEC programs at the church and school-based level, so that in developing an overall oversight of ECEC programs, we could see more effective coordination and more effective ministry in the best interests of young children. In late 2007, the Columbia Union Executive Committee made a decision to provide a full-time equivalent to the Office of Education, so that we can have an individual be called to effectively coordinate ECEC ministry in our field. Evelyn Sullivan, who was at the time serving as the Associate Superintendent for the Potomac Conference, was carefully vetted and chosen to be the individual to coordinate these ministries.
Well, learning begins at infancy. The moment a child is born, that child is placed in your hand like a little piece of clay, and he or she starts absorbing and learning. And as educators, we have learned that because children learn very young, that it's important for us to begin teaching them as early on. So our focal point is going from babysitting type of centers and preschools to more of a learning environment where children can learn at their own pace. Early on, Ellen White said that children shouldn't start school till they were about 8 or 9 years of age. And actually, that's what they were doing. They were not enrolling children in school till 8 or 9, until she said that she wanted to talk to a particular school board near the sanitarium, and she said, listen, God has shown me the light. I have to share something with you. And I want to read to you what she said, actually in Selective Messages, Counsels Regarding Age of School Entrance. She says, I say these little children that are small ought to have education, just what they would get in a school. They ought to have the school discipline under a person who understands how to deal with children in accordance with their different temperaments. Well, interesting enough, Ellen White wasn't afraid to say that, well, yes, I said this, but now I see something differently. And in a world where we see so many parents working, I agree with Ellen White. We need to make provisions for these parents.
In the 3 years since the Columbia Union Office of Education established the Early Childhood Education and Care Program, they have focused on 4 main objectives.
We help raise awareness of the importance and the benefits of having age-appropriate early childhood programs that can serve as feeders to our school systems.
It's really been amazing, and it's been surprising for us. Because initially our plan was to provide a service for our Adventist families who are already bringing their school-age children to school, but would provide a place for their preschool-age children as well. But the reality is a large number of the students coming into the ECEC program are non-Adventist families who are attracted to the type of services that we provide.
We had to develop an appropriate business plan, survey our community to determine the need for an ECEC program. Then we wanted to be sure that the experience for each child was of top quality.
Yes, you do have blue on. We mixed all the colors together and saw what they made, didn't we?
Our program here is really dynamic. Our preschool day begins with worship, in which we use the Bible stories and we sing a lot of songs and get the children involved and active. Since Jesus Christ came in, I gave my heart. After that, we begin our day with experiments and projects and a lot of dramatic play. The kids get involved in playing in our kitchen area. They do experiments in our water table with bubbles and soap. And then we continue on by reading stories. By the end of the day, we have worshiped, we have explored, and we've played because we believe in emphasizing the love of Jesus.
It has been amazing for us. When we started the preschool program, we only had one kindergarten teacher. But because of the number of students coming through the preschool into the kindergarten program, we've now hired a second teacher. And it is possible by next school year that second teacher will be full-time.
Across the United States, early childhood education programs are monitored through state regulations to ensure the safety of each child. And we try to help our conferences, schools, and churches navigate through these state regulations and understand that the startup requirements are quite rigorous.
And next.
We attended an orientation session which helped us to understand the process, and most states have that available for all ECEC directors. It involved things such as filling out an application, looking at the furniture and the equipment in our classroom, making sure it was appropriate for our young ones, playground equipment, being sure that there's adequate space as well as that the equipment we have is appropriate for the age that we're dealing with, fingerprinting, of course, which you would expect, and many, many safety rules that help with the health and well-being of our kids. I am really proud of the Columbia Union for bringing on an ECEC director.
1, 2, 3.
We also engage, train, and provide resources for our program directors and teachers. This involves traveling all around the union and meeting the teachers and the directors and the children.
Creative curriculum is also a new program to us, and I have enjoyed it. My children have enjoyed it. It has also taken away the formal training and allowed us to experience learning in a way that children enjoy it. They learn much more from it by discovery as opposed to giving information and them being able to just give it back to me.
The training benefited me as a teacher as I was able to clearly incorporate all of the components into my classroom, and I was able to do it effectively.
Well, we've really been excited about all of the materials and the resources and the training that's been provided to our conference by the Columbia Union. We're just excited about what the ECEC program means to our educational system and in building a firm foundation for our children.
This year I had the opportunity to bring my children to DuPont Park School. I'm the new principal of DuPont Park, and we brought our pre-K4 student and our first grader here. Our pre-K4 student has been through pre-K programs before, but this is different in that she is able to get the spiritual aspect as well as the academic benefit from a program.
Of course, as Seventh-day Adventist educators, our highest objective is to build God's kingdom and to prepare our little ones for Jesus' soon return. And that's ultimately what it's all about.
We believe that our Early Learning Center is an evangelistic tool for the mere fact that at the earliest age that they're able to enter and come to us, we're introducing them to Jesus. Recently, we have had a family enroll 2 of their children that have gone through our Early Learning Center. One of them is currently still in the program, the other one in the kindergarten program of the school. But the mother used to have a connection through her father with the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And through the program itself, there has been a revival of wanting to reconnect again. And many of our students have made that choice to be baptized once they've either in the 5th, 6th grade, 7th, some as early as 4th grade. It is a fulfilling, thing to be able to know that somehow, one way or another, our center has had an impact in that choice.
Thank the Lord Jesus for this beautiful sunny day.
I believe that we have to do all we can to ensure that our children are receiving a holistic education that develops the mind, the body, and the spirit. And it takes a partnership between the home, the church, and the school.
I'm very excited at what I see as a growing vitality in our ECEC programs across the Union. I'm excited as we envision what we will see in a short period of time to be healthy, financially strong ECEC programs, to see programs that are standardized with respect to curriculum, with respect to professional growth for the educators and the directors, and to see curriculum standardized so that our young people in these programs can best be served. What's most exciting to me, however, is that through this type of standardization, we can be certain that all of our ECEC programs have our young people meet and learn to love Jesus Christ.